join us today. So before we dive into today's topic, let me quickly reintroduce ourselves. We are from Palni, and at Palni, we are working to unlock the full potential of ServiceNow platform. We are working with ITSM, ITOM, HRSD, and custom applications. We are working with anything in between as well. And we literally take a lot of pride in crafting solutions that are not just technically robust, but really meaningful for businesses. And today, let me tell you, we are really thrilled to have Raj, our ServiceNow architect, joining us. And trust me, he's an expert as ServiceNow. So, Raj, how's it going?
Hey Tulsi, that's fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, really great, Raj. Like, we have been planning this, and I'm really happy to do this today.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. And
Yeah, so,
we already saw all the technical issues in the beginning of the
yeah.
show itself.
Yeah,
So I hope there will not be any glitches going forward.
yeah, I
And
hope so too.
yeah, okay. So yes, to the viewers, it's I'm very excited and I'm very happy to have you all here. And I will definitely share something valuable so that you can carry something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this has already happened. I have you have already introduced yourself previously, but let's introduce yourself again, Raj.
Oh, that's not at all a problem, Tulsi. I can do it once again. So,
Yeah.
I am one of the ServiceNow architects here at Palni, and I have been working with ServiceNow for several years now. And I have helped customers around the world in implementations, providing solutions for the complex problems, and creating impactful business results. Uh, Brought in great value for the customers where we have implemented ServiceNow. So yeah, some of you who have joined us today, most of you might be knowing me already, and I have worked in various products of ServiceNow as well. And I hope I'll be able to answer all your questions today.
Yeah, awesome. And Raj, guys, you can really ask him anything about ServiceNow, not just the topic we are going to see for today, but any of the topics you have any questions about, you can ask him. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy to answer you all.
Yeah,
So, so Raj, why don't you have us give us a walkthrough on what we are going to do today? I'm sure everyone's going to be excited to know about that.
sure. So today it's all about building something real in catalog items. Okay, so when it comes to catalog items, we have most of us have seen only the fields and some values, and when we submit a request will be created, blah blah blah. But today what we are going to do is we are going to get some data from some other tables and display it on the catalog item in a HTML format. Okay, so there are various use cases for this, and we have implemented for multiple user customers. So I'll be talking about those use cases and that real-time scenarios towards the end of this show. But let me tell you, this is not going to be any PowerPoint presentation or something. So it is going to be all real live demonstration and live coding throughout.
Great. Yeah, I know we have been in a static screen since the live started. I know you're all already bored of watching that screen, the same screen. But trust me, once we start, you're not going to see that screen again.
For sure.
Yeah. And guys, before we get on with it, so let me tell you, you can ask any questions midway, before, at the end, anytime you want. You can just pin the questions in the chat and I will be asking them for you. Raj will be answering them for you. Trust me, he will give you the right answers, hopefully. So let's get
Hopefully.
started, Raj. Yeah. The, the screen's all
Yes.
yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Tulsi. So, as I mentioned, we are going to get some data from a different table and display it on the catalog item. So, you might be thinking, why can't we do it with a simple script include? But this is not just a script include work. We need to render that into a presentable format. Okay, so the use case is sometimes there might be some object, some data to be displayed as a note to the end users, or there might be a scenario where you might have to display some content, okay, in a format. Say for example, if there is a request to request to there is a catalog item to request a uh, training session or a learning for the employees. So when the employees select the course or the training, they have to look at all the prerequisites in a way, like a prerequisite with say for example uh, certain prerequisites, the level of the prerequisite or things like that. So to display that kind of information, render it into the HTML and display it onto the catalog item is not an easy task. So we need to use both widgets for platform view and macros on the platform view and widgets on the portal view. Okay, so let us see how we can build all this together. Okay, so for this scenario, I'm going to create a simple custom application and a custom table for that. Okay, so let me go to Studio. Let's create a new application. Okay, I will leave this as scoped and I will just say live. Okay, I will, this is our scope. Let's go here. Okay, I'll just continue to advanced. I'm going to create a table in our application, a very simple table.
Yeah, Raj, is there any requirements that we have to do this? Like, who can do this?
Not necessarily. So because we are working on a PDI, I just want to have some base data created here, and so that there are numerous use cases where this can be implemented. Say for example, if you want to, as I mentioned, to show the prerequisites of a learning, or to show a prerequisites, or say for example someone is applying for a leave, a catalog request item, a catalog item to submit a leave request, and they
Yeah.
want to see all their leaves, pending leaves, the used leaves or approved declined leaves, all of that information displayed below their catalog item, rendered properly into HTML. So this use case is a perfect example.
Yeah, I guess
Uh,
that's going to be really helpful to
Yes, so
lots of people.
many people struggle. Okay, they want to build a catalog item, but they want to show something at the on the catalog item itself, but using the script includes and getting them as a field values is very boring, and end users will not understand, and they may not go through all of that fields and the field values. Okay, so that's the reason uh, today we are going to build a catalog item which has this widget rendered directly on the catalog item. For that, I'm building some base structure um, here. So let's see, I will give a name for this table also as demo, live demo. Okay, the table name also I'm just keeping it a live demo, and here,
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
yeah. So I will just, I don't need any of this, so this is not a session on um, tables or custom applications, so I'll just leave it like this, and I'll not give any of other information. I just want a simple table. Okay, so now we have the table here. just go create a simple form so that we can fill the data here onto the table.
What happened, Raj? Is there an issue?
Yeah, looks like my system is not responding. Let me check that. What's wrong?
Everyone, yeah, really, this is really the first time we are trying this, and I hope it goes well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Let me see. Let me do it a different way. We have other ways if this is not working.
Yeah, I guess that's a huge advantage with ServiceNow. We can do it in multiple ways.
I'm not sure what's wrong with the instance.
I think this is a new one we started, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the instance, because generally this is something I have not seen before.
So while we wait for this, we have a question, Raj. So they want to know what is macro and what's the use of macro in using in catalog items.
Okay, macros are not just for catalog items. Macros can be used in multiple places. Okay, macros are basically used to render the HTML and execute some scripts on the HTML. Okay, uh, so as you all know, in ServiceNow we should the changes that we make on DOM level are not at all advised. Okay, so as per ServiceNow best practices, we should not make any DOM level changes and any coding that is at DOM level. So then how do we achieve something if we want at DOM level? Then that is where this UI macros comes into picture. So if you are using a UI window or anything like that, UI macros comes handy. Okay, so whereas in portals we have all the rendering that can be done using a widget. Okay, but here it's not like that. On the platform view you must do some DOM level manipulations, and to handle those DOM level manipulations we can use macros. Okay, let me go to studio. Looks like it's fixed.
Great. I hope that answers the question. And if you have any other questions, guys, anyone, just post them. Yeah, I know there's been some issues, but trust me, Raj is going to cover it all in the coming.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, we are beginning it again, Raj.
No, I just want to check if the form is created. So it's not. So let's go create a form.
Okay.
Okay. Live demos here. We have the live demos here. Okay. let's go to the form designer and or form builder and add some fields to it.
Oh, which one's better, Raj? Builder or designer?
So builder is a new functionality, it, and it is more flexible. You can also add UI policies while you create the form itself. Okay, and you can also add some validations while you create the form itself, whereas form builder doesn't have. And also you can define the dictionaries in the form builder. Okay. uh,
Oh,
yes, so maybe we can cover that some other day. uh,
yeah.
there is lot of leverage they have brought in form builder. It's really wonderful. I liked it personally. But today our focus is not on the fields or the forms, so I just want to um, stick to designer.
Great. Great.
Okay, so let us see if we have name value pairs. Okay, so let us use two fields like name value pairs and also a string field. Okay, so I'll just give this as course title.
Yeah,
Okay,
Raj, they want to know if they can autofill field values using macros. Is that possible?
autofill field values using macros. Yes, it's possible. Okay, but again, so I would rather prefer some other way to auto populate the field values rather than using macros, because macros, as I mentioned, the purpose of the macros is to have some HTML elements rendered. Okay, so
Yeah, I guess
I'll,
that the best way would be the.
yeah, so I will just say prerequisites.
Okay, so what are we going to do today with the catalog item, Raj?
So the idea here is to, as I mentioned already, so we are going to get this data. So I have created a table with some fields here, and I will create some records. Now I will also build a catalog item, and I will try to get, whenever someone selects a particular record, particular course, then it automatically displays what are the prerequisites for that course. Okay, and and how we can render that on the catalog item, both on platform and also on the um portal.
Yeah, I guess this is going to be a lot of help for new trainings, I guess, or anyone new to this.
Yes, so this will definitely help people leverage their leverage and make the catalog items look beautiful, dynamic. Okay, but again, this requires, as I'm saying, this requires some knowledge on AngularJS, portal widget development, and all.
Yeah, I guess you're going to need knowledge on CSS as well.
Yeah, so a little bit on HTML, CSS, AngularJS, and a little bit on JavaScript and ServiceNow scripting knowledge. All of this is required. Okay, so let me create some data here. Say for example, maybe, yeah, you can, so I'll just say ServiceNow, I'll just say ITSM, and the prerequisites maybe, or I will say ServiceNow admin. I will just say a little bit of JavaScript
That's great.
at basic level, then ServiceNow fundamentals, or ITSM, or I will just leave it here.
Yeah, I guess those two are really important
Yeah.
before we start the admin course, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's important to have all of this handy. So in my opinion, to learn ServiceNow, you don't need to know anything. There are no prerequisites, but you can anyone, because ServiceNow has come up with low code, no code, pro code, citizen developers. So you don't need to know anything, but having or knowing this will definitely give an advantage of learning faster, picking up things faster.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Um,
So, Raj, how would you say if one wants to start service now? What would be the best thing to learn first?
so I would say start with fundamentals, ServiceNow fundamentals. Okay, so yeah, ServiceNow fundamentals. They should learn how to navigate across the tool. Uh, it's pretty easy.
Okay, I guess I have been disturbing you for a lot right now. Please
That's fine.
continue.
You can ask questions. That's what we promised in the beginning.
Yeah.
Intermediate. So I'll just leave the topics. I'll just keep the topics two records, and I think this will be enough. Now let us get into our actual uh, catalog item. So I'll just go to maintain item. Okay. And one last thing I wanted to do here is on the table. I'll just go to the table. And go into our, okay, let me refresh this. Okay, I will make this field as the display field, so that okay, so that when users select the field, they will be able to see what course they have selected. Okay, I hope it's saved. Okay. Let's go back to the maintain items. I'm going to create a new catalog item. Okay, so I will give the name of the catalog item as training request. I'll just do it in the, we can build this catalog item either in global scope or even in the scoped application. It works perfectly fine.
Great. So, Raj, I know I'm disturbing you again, but
Oh,
here's
that's
a
fine.
question. So, yeah, if you are starting with catalog development, so what's the best way to start? Any pro tips?
So when you are starting with catalog development, I would always suggest to start with simple ones. Okay, understand the complete flow of how catalog items work, and how the actual system application works when it comes to catalog items. Okay, I would definitely suggest to use catalog builder. Okay, and we have we have very good resources to learn about catalog builder and other things. Okay.
Great.
Yes, so I would suggest, if you are not a developer, I would suggest to start with catalog builder, okay, which is a simple and straightforward way of creating catalog items without much of scripting or development requirements. Okay, so I don't see a category here, a nice category that will fit, so I will just use quick links for now. Quick links category, yes, perfect. Okay, I'll give the name as training request, and I will keep all of this limited because we have bigger things to do. Okay, so let me go create a, okay, what's wrong? Okay, so
Yeah, I guess I have not mentioned this, but yeah, if you are looking for developing catalog items, you want to learn how to develop catalog items, we have a fantastic playlist in our channel, right, Raj?
oh yeah, so yes, if someone wants to start ServiceNow, they are not sure where to start, which one to start. Okay, we have a channel. Uh, in Palni has created a channel, and all the experts, ServiceNow experts from Palni, uh, they were doing tremendous job and contributing towards it. Um, yes, we have several playlists for everyone to learn there. Okay, so yes, that's a good start. We have a complete playlist of ServiceNow catalog items, where we have videos demonstrating how to use catalog builder. We have how to build catalogs from the native view from here, maybe. Yes, there are options. Okay, so looks like I used a wrong one. Let me check. Trust me, I clicked on this. It's not going forward. Okay, let's wait for refresh.
Wow, it's usually so fast. I
Yeah,
guess your
it's
system.
generally it's fast. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I just want to delete this and create a new item in the global scope. I'm not sure, switching the scopes is taking a lot of time.
Yeah. Will it happen to new instances or is it just now?
I think it is very random.
No.
Okay, let's give a name. Okay, fantastic. That's it. Let me save this. And we have the variables related list. Okay, let's create the first variable as requested for at an order of 100, and I'll give the name as requested for. Fantastic. Type specification. Okay.
Raj, I guess it's really helpful to give the order as 100, right?
Yes, so that way it's my personal preference to give a gap of 100 order and the multiples of 100, so that it will in future, if you want to add more variables in between, it will definitely help us do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we are good here. Let me just submit this. Okay, now I will create one more reference field. Reference field, I'll make this as a mandatory field, and I will just say select the course, and here I will reference this to the custom table that we have created some time back. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Great. So everyone, I know we are 45 minutes in, and it's looking like we are just getting started. It's going to get more interesting going forward. Stay tuned.
Of course, yes, we are just still on the surface. We are going to go deep into the core. Okay, and we are going to see something really complex.
Yes, Akhilesh, yeah, there's been a lot of issues with PDFs recently. Looks like everyone's going through the same thing you're going through, Raj.
Yeah. Okay, so let me submit this. Okay, so now the idea here is, let us just try it. I'll just keep the catalog building only limited till here, because we don't want to. Okay, I forgot to update the order of this, but we can do this. So the idea is, when a user tries to select a course for training, Okay, when they are requesting for training and when they select a course, say for example I'm selecting an admin course, so I want to see the users should be able to see all the prerequisites of this course here rendered properly in a HTML. Okay, so that is not something you can do directly with the available scripting tools or some other scripts. So how we are going to do that? Before that, let me update the order for this as 200. And we are going to use a widget or a variable called custom variable. Okay, so here I will just say prerequisites finding prerequisites. Okay, so here I'm going to include a macro and a widget. Okay, so macro is for rendering it onto the platform view, and widget is to render it on the onto the portal view.
So I guess we are going to build both of them, right, Raj?
Yes, we will look from both the sides. Okay, from both the landing pages. So
Great.
let me create a simple widget first, a dummy widget. Okay, from here, so that it will be directly linked. So I'll just say this has training prerequisite. So many people would be wondering, or many people may not be even aware of what is the use of this custom variable, and this is the use case. Okay, I will be editing this widget later, this macro later, and here I will create a new widget. Okay, so I'll just to keep it uniform, I will select the same name here. Okay, and the ID should be automatically generated, and we will fix all of that later. Okay, so that's it. We are done with our variable. First we will start with our macro and then eventually move on to the widget on portal. Okay.
Great. So we are going to start with macro, I guess.
Yes, first we'll start with the UI macro. Okay.
I guess a lot of people have questions on macros these days.
Oh yeah, macros, yes, powerful, but it requires some knowledge on jelly scripting. Okay, so that is where many people, or if they are not developers, if they are just citizen developers or administrators, they find it difficult to manage this macros. Okay, let me go back to the catalog item one more time.
I guess you need to tell them what's JavaScript, Raj. I guess we have a lot of beginners.
Yeah, JellyScript is a form of JavaScript again. Okay, but we'll keep that for another day's discussion. Okay, because I just want to focus on this. Definitely yes, and JellyScript has its own libraries and they are available online free. Okay, so yeah, the idea is now if we select this, we are not able to see the custom widget here, but it is being rendered here. Okay, so let us see how it goes. Okay, so here as we write the scripting, we will know. So
Raj, they want to know where they can learn jelly scripting. Like, do we have any resources for that?
Yes, it's available online. Like there is a library, like the way we can learn AngularJS or something. There is a library, okay, for jelly scripts. But definitely, if definitely we can take that as an input and we can pass it over to our team, and they will try to create a playlist helping others to learn jelly script.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess they're going to be really happy with that. I guess we are already done with the AngularJS, right?
Yes,
Or
we have a very wonderful playlist on AngularJS.
yeah.
Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to render a simple HTML for now, and then we shall see what we can do. This is a widget and this is the UI macro. Okay, I'm waiting for the UI macro to load, but that's okay, we'll do it once again.
For us, they want to know if we can't write jelly scripts with JavaScript experience.
Um, See, it is simple. In my opinion, JavaScript is also simple if you know the logic. Okay, so if you know the logic how to build a JavaScript, then you should not find any difficulty in learning JavaScript. It's pretty easy. Okay, so let me just render a simple HTML. I will give a div here, and I will just say um, okay, I'll just give h1 as, or maybe h3. h1 will be too big. h3. I'll just save it. So if I render this, if I refresh this catalog item, you can notice the custom variable with the UI macro. It's not rendered here. I'm not sure what happened. Let us look into that. Back to the widget later.
What happened that?
It's taking time to load.
Yeah. So well, it takes time to load, guys. I hope your questions been answered. Uh, if you have any more questions, do post them in the chat. Any other questions? Not just what we are looking at now. Any questions related to ServiceNow you want to ask? Just post them in the chat. Okay, so they want to know Raj, like macros are almost similar to HTML. So are we going to add CSS to it?
Yes. So we are going to add CSS, and we are going to see the entire entire capability of macro and widget.
Great.
Okay, so yes, we have this linked here. Oh, I see the prerequisite is coming here. So let me refresh. I reordered it. Okay, so yeah, you see here the custom widget that we have, a custom variable that we have added has been rendered and it is showing up at the bottom. Now for this we are going to add CSS and also bring the data from the custom table that we have created. Okay, so we have created a table here, if you all remember, and this is for the people who have joined little late. So we have created a table and we have the data here. Okay.
Okay, so Raj, they want to know like how do we troubleshoot when we are facing issues with scripts? So best ways to troubleshoot scripts.
Sure. So best way to troubleshoot scripts, it depends on the type of script, and every developer will have their own way of debugging scripts. And not just that, ServiceNow has a wonderful script debugging tool. So you can just use the script debugging tool. Okay, script debugger. Okay, if you just use the script debugger, you can almost debug anything from there. Okay, so let me move back to our topic today. So the idea is, when a user selects something here, the prerequisites of that course is pulled from this table here and it is displayed in the tabular format. If I use a script include or something to get the value here, it will display like an object here. But end users may not understand this and they may think there is some error in the page. So that's the reason we are using HTML to load that. Okay, so for that, let's go back to our macro and write the script. So if you all notice, it is same as the way we do our HTML. Okay, so or HTML JavaScript. So we have the HTML code and we have the script embedded into it. Okay, so for this, what I will do is I will just create a function and I'll create a function, say display pre
Yeah, Raj. They also want to know, do in macro here, JavaScript methods work here as well?
yes, all the JavaScript methods and also the server side and client side script classes methods, everything will work. Okay, yeah. So okay, so I'm going to call this function here and I am going to write all my script logic in this function. Okay, so we all know, to get a server side data onto the client, we must use, and the best way to get that data is using glide ajax. So I'm going to use the same glide ajax within this, and this will answer your previous question: can we use the JavaScript methods? Can we use the server side and client side classes and methods? Okay, so yes, courses is equal to new ajax. So for this, I will create a script include quickly and we'll call that script include here.
Great. One more quick question, Raj. So they want to know, like, do we need to create a macro to display a widget on the portal view?
Yes, you have to create a not a macro, it's a widget for the portal view, and the macro is for the platform view.
So we won't be needing a macro for the portal view, right?
No, no. Okay, so let us create a script include. Okay, I'll just say catalog utils or something we can give, and this is going to be client callable script include glide ajax enabled. Okay, and then I will create a method called get course data, maybe. Yeah, so I'll just give this function.
Yeah, it's really cool to add a script include here.
Yes, so yeah, this gives you the capability of getting any data. So with this small tip, you can understand you can get any kind of server data very simply onto the client side. Okay, once we get onto the client side, you can just render it into the HTML. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I'll just say course instead of courses. Add param. So for people who are asking all the questions like where can I learn JavaScript, where can I learn widget development, okay, so I would suggest you to just post some subscribe to the channel and post some comments there asking for what you are looking for, and our team will definitely work on that and try to get all that you are looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they will be looking at with top priority.
Yes, so that's a tremendous effort from our team. Besides their day-to-day deliverables, they are working on getting this. Okay, so I will pass this, select the course variable. I think we have that variable back somewhere here. Okay, I'll pass this value here, but I'm sorry, it's not a static value. Okay, this will bring the sysID for me, and I will use course dot get XML, and I will process this in the callback function. So I'll just give a callback function as update item. Okay, I will create a callback function here. Okay, update item response. Okay, so what to do in this response, we'll see that later. Now I'll just save it. I'll just save it. So now we'll work on the script include here. Script include is not ready yet, so let us work on the script include. And yeah, let me write the script include where course is equal to or I'll just say course ID. Okay, course ID is equal to this dot get parameter of, we are going to get the parameter course. Okay, this will bring the sysID of the course that user has selected. So once I have the sysID, all I need to do is I need to query the table. Okay, so for now I'll just say course record. Okay, so I'll just get this table name. I'll glide this table name here. And I know dot query of sysID is same as course ID, and then I will just say course underscore record dot query. This will bring me that record here. So I'll just use an if course underscore record dot next. If the record exists, then what I can do is I will just return this value prerequisites. Okay, so let me see what's the field name that I have given here. Okay, so that is u prerequisites, u underscore prerequisites. So I'll just copy this. I'll go back to my script include and I will just return that. Return JSON dot stringify. Okay, so course record dot u underscore prerequisites. So this will send the course prerequisite back to our client script. So I'll just save it.
So, hey Raj, just a minute. We have a fresher who wants to know
Mhm.
any tips on improving her scripting.
So I would say practice. Okay, so the best way is to practice and ask questions. Try to see different scripts on try to practice different types of scripts every day. That will definitely help improve your scripting skills. Okay, so I'll just come back to our widget, and here I will get that widget here, and I will just say okay, now I have where prerequisites. I hope I have not used this. Where prerequisites is equal to, so whatever response I'm getting here, I'm sending here, I will try to get that response here back. Okay, and I will parse that JSON dot parse response dot response XML dot document element dot get attribute document element dot get attribute of. So far it is pretty simple, straightforward. We are getting the value, we are just passing some data to the server side, getting that value to the client. Okay, that is UI macro. And now what we are going to do is I will just add a div here in my HTML. Okay, I'll just add a div here, and I will just say, just for the argument or just for testing purpose, I will just say I'll create a paragraph tag here. Okay, I will say this, the ID for this paragraph is I'll give some ID is equal to
Hey
prerequisites.
Raj, a quick question.
Okay,
So, they want to know if we can invoke existing macros within a macro.
yes, possible. That's possible. Yes, you can invoke existing macros within a macro. Okay, but again, I wouldn't suggest doing that. Okay, I wouldn't suggest doing that, but yes, if the requirement is like that, the reason I wouldn't suggest is it will impact the performance.
Yeah.
Okay, document dot get element by ID, and I know the ID of this is prerequisites. Okay, dot inner HTML. This is equal to my prerequisites that I have got here. Okay, so let us test this and see how it works, and then we can start using our CSS and we can render it the way we want. Okay, so let's go back, refresh. Okay, let's select the admin. Okay, it's not working. Great, you can debug. Someone asked a question how to debug scripts, so this is how I debug my scripts. Okay, so let's go back and see where the issue is. So I generally use the alert messages and info messages. So first I will see what's coming into my script here. Okay, alert prerequisite. So this will help me understand what's coming from the server side to this client side.
I guess the first thing I do is search for typos, Raj.
Oh, sure. Yeah, most of the times that is where we go wrong. And also I just want to, before I do this, I want to make sure there is something in the prerequisite. So what I will do is I will just use an if statement. I know in this case we have only couple of records and both the records has the prerequisites, so this if statement doesn't make any difference. But always before assigning values to the client side, it is good to validate if there is any real data that is available in the variable. Okay, so let me see if there are any typos. Okay, but anyways, let us see here. Okay, so even the alert is not coming. There is literally no output here. Oh, yes, that's wonderful.
What is Raj not having the alert?
Yes, so I forgot to do something very important. We have a widget created, okay, but we have a macro created, and we call that macro into the catalog item. So the macro, what the macro will do is macro will only render the HTML. Macro will not know what is the script that is followed and when to trigger that script. You see what I'm saying? So that is where we have to write one more client script in the catalog item to invoke that script within that UI macro. Okay, so let's see how to do that. So as I told in the beginning, this is not something simple and straightforward. There are multiple things and multiple triggers we have to put in place. Okay, so I'm writing a client script, on change client script. Okay, load prerequisites. Load prerequisites. And as I mentioned, UI macro is only for the platform, not for the portal. So I want to make sure, I have to make sure this is running only on the desktop, not on the portals. So don't do a mistake of selecting all, because we generally, whenever we write a client script, it's a general tendency that people select all so that it runs everywhere without an issue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I will select the variable name as select the course. So as soon as the course is selected, I want this particular function to be invoked. Okay, so I'll go back here. Boom, that's it. Very simple script. Okay, so let's go back, test it. So let me select, hope this time it says something. Okay, we have some output here.
Yeah.
And okay, we have an object coming from the server. So that means server is sending something and we are getting that data, and it's an object. So object is like full of key value pairs. So I will try to render it in the format of, okay, so I will try to render it in a tabular format so that it will be nice and easy for the users to understand. Okay, so I want the table to be rendered only if there is some data within the record. Okay, some trainings or some courses may not have any prerequisites, so I don't want the table to be rendered there. So what I will do here is I will just create a div here. So I will just remove this paragraph here, and I will give this div a name. Okay, I will give this div id as p table. Okay, so I hope this will do. We don't need this. Okay, yes, this looks a lot better. Now I will create a div here. Okay, some custom div. I'm creating a variable. I'm defining a variable called custom div, and here I will build my whole table HTML table here. So I will build the string HTML table class table. I will define a class for the table so that I can give some CSS later. Okay, I'll just say class is equal to prerequisite table class. Okay, I will try to end the table here itself so that I will know which tag is completed and which tag is not. I will create a head. Okay, and end the head, table head. This is the table head, and within the table head I will just create a table row. I will end the table row as well, and then I will start giving the table head. Okay, so in the table head I will just say, because this is a header, I can just use maybe some skills. Okay, this is my first table head. This is my first table head, and then I will create one more table head. I'll just call this as level head. Okay, so this, with this we have created the table head and we are done with our table head. Now I will go create a table body, t body, and I will end the t body as well. T body, and for t body I will give an ID so that I can assign some values directly to this. I will just give the ID as ID as prerequisites pre-REQ something. Okay, I'll end the table body as well. So this is my table. This is my table. Now what I have to do is I have to get all the table information and populate into this table. Okay, so let's see how to do that in a minute. Okay, so for that we all know we got this prerequisites as an object, so let us process that object. So for that what I will do is I will get all the keys of the object. Okay, so I will create a variable called key or keys or something. So for that I will get the object dot keys. So this will get all the keys of this object. All the keys from this object, and then I will go through each of this key and I will process each of this key here. Okay, so now I know I will create a variable called I will define a variable here. Before even I come into this, if I will define a variable okay, and now I will associate that variable. I will concatenate that variable t body okay plus, and this is going to, I'm going to add this to the table ID here. So I'm going to build a row and column here. So for that I will just say tr, okay, and then td. I got the, within a row I got a column that says okay key, which key I have here, plus then I will end that column here and then start a new column to get the level of that prerequisite, and then I will populate that with this object value. I'll get the value of that key using this object, then keys of I, and once I have that value I will just close the td and tr.
Hey Raj, they want to know if they can try this with existing tables in their PDIs.
Oh, definitely, why not? So that is something I have mentioned in the beginning. You can use, none of these methods are limited to the scope, and some of the questions people asked earlier, Can I use JavaScript methods? Yes, this is a JavaScript method I have used. Okay, and can I use ServiceNow scripts? Yes, this is all ServiceNow script I have used. Okay, and yes, whatever use case we are doing here is a very generic, and it can be leveraged to any level based on the requirement. Okay, so here there is one more very important thing everyone should know. So if everything looks good, nice here, but if I try to save this, it will throw me an error. Okay, so you see here it's throwing an error. Okay, so table and this, so we have to skip all these characters here. So rather than doing that, you can always use that's the advantage with macro. You can use a combination of both HTML and JavaScript. So I'm using a tag to exclude all the special characters, or all the HTML tags here. Okay, so okay, so I'll just use this, and within this data I will just add this here and end this here, and now all of this goes into one tag. Okay, so now I will just save it. Done, it is saved now. Okay, so let's go try to refresh, render it, and see how things are. Okay, okay, let me select a course. Okay, something is wrong, it's not allowing me to select it. Let's go debug. What's happening here? So okay, so we have get element by, okay, I will assign this to this one here, Control C here, and what else is happening? Keys of prerequisites. Let's try to debug. Let's try to save till here and try to debug. If it is working, fine. If it is not, we shall debug further. Something is wrong, it's not processing. I just want to make sure it is because of the new lines of code that I have added. Okay, so what I did here, what's different from before? Custom div, okay, so we have the custom div here. Okay, we have not, so all of this goes here, all of this goes here. So okay, where is our custom div? No, I'm sorry, this is our table. So let me assign that R table here. I will assign this here, and then the table ID is get element ID by ID prerequisite here, and assign the table to that. No, it's not allowing.
Yeah. Can we look at the if statement once?
So we have an if here, if prerequisite. Okay, you think this is the issue? Okay, let me comment that out, save it. Okay, okay, something is happening at least this time, but the only thing is it's not rendering. But yeah, looks like the issue is with the if statement. Let's fix that. No, it's not. It's not.
Did we call the variable here, Raj?
So which one is that we are saying? Prerequisites. So okay, that's fine. Let's go step by step.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it step by step. Let me comment of everything. I just want to make sure we have the keys and the objects correct. So I will assign these keys and objects to our R table div. Okay, so let us okay, I will even comment this out, and I just have the keys now. Okay, let's see what happens. What's happening with this? Okay, so we got the keys. JavaScript service now. We got the keys. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so our JavaScript is not wrong. Now let us see if we are getting the values as well here. So I'll go into each of these keys. Okay, and let us print this out. Okay, so prerequisite of keys of I looks good to me. So
Yeah.
let's use the same div here. I know it will only print the last value, but that's fine. You see here fundamentals. So if we go back here, ServiceNow, the last value is ServiceNow and it is fundamentals. So our JavaScript is doing great. So all that is failing is our HTML. So when we construct our HTML, and just to
So
make
Raj,
sure,
the custom div variable, are we creating it in the if?
custom div variable, you think we should not create in if? That doesn't matter actually, but yes, let's figure out if the issue is with the if. So da-da. Let's go ahead, change this here.
Yeah, I guess we haven't called the custom div variable and directly accessed it, right?
Okay, yeah, so sorry, I missed that.
The custom div variable, Raj, I think we have accessed it directly.
Okay, let me
We
check
haven't
that.
called it yet, I guess.
So we have a where here. I can, okay, I understood what you're saying. I can define this here. I can define it global and then assign it. Okay, but I want to make sure we have a table, end of table, we have a head, end of head, we have a row, end of row, and we have a column head, t body id is this and the t body ends here. So yes, this table should go within my div here. So what I will do is I will assign this here. Let's go line by line. Okay. Okay, one more correction here. I will comment this out.
Yeah, hey Raj, I think we are missing a double quote here.
Okay, makes
In
sense.
class, yeah.
Makes sense, and thanks for that. So in class we missed a double quote. Fantastic. Okay, actually, you know what? That's purposeful. I just want to show how to debug a script. Someone asked me a question on that.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. Quite convincing, Raj. Yeah, so guys, yeah, here's your answer to the question on how to debug, I guess.
That's little embarrassing example. Okay, still not good. Not good. Let me go back, fix it. I might be missing some quotes and double quotes here and there. Let me see. Now it makes sense here. Okay, so here I should not use single quote because we are already enclosing it with a single quote. So this also should be double quote here. And I think this is all good. Yes.
Hopefully, you haven't left anything out purposefully again, Raj.
Let's find it out.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So at least now we have the table header here, and let us populate the table rows as well. Now I will just build my table body and I will update that table body here. Let me select some course. Boom. So we have the table with the skills, level, okay, and all of this. So now all we have to do is to add some CSS to it and make it look better. So I'm not going to build the complete CSS in the interest of time, but I will show you the idea how we can do the styling. Okay, so okay, so I'll just create the style tags here, and then I will say we have table class. So maybe I'll give a table class. So I'll start with width maybe. Then
I guess to impress an end user, CSS is going to be quite handy, right?
yes. Okay, so let us add some shadow to it. Okay, and let us also add some family to it, font family to it. Okay, so I hope you all understood the idea, how, where and how to add the CSS. You can also write some inline CSS within the script here, in the JavaScript here, and you can dynamically pass it there. Okay, let us see how my CSS looks.
I won't say it's going to be one of your best ones.
Of course, we have not done the complete CSS in the interest of time because
Yeah.
we have a whole widget to be developed. Okay, so at least not bad. It's better than before, and this is how we can
Yeah.
display data dynamically, user friendly, and render it as an HTML. So I hope this explains the use case that I have mentioned in the beginning, right? For people who are not able to visualize, why can't we just call a script include directly? Because the script include will bring the values something like this, and it will display the value like this, which is not at all user friendly. Okay, so this will help them understand, okay, as soon as they select the course, they will understand, okay, for this course they have certain prerequisites. Okay, and the use cases are not just limited with this kind of example, not just using a data from a table. It has several other use cases. Okay, we will discuss more towards the end, but one of the classical one is AWS integration. So when the users are trying to request for some server or something on the AWS platform, if the administrator wants to display the configurations of that infrastructure, what they are requesting, so in AWS integration, the catalog item is completely built on TypeScripts, UI macros, and the widgets. Okay, So let us quickly jump on to the widget development. Okay, I'll just close everything here. I'll keep the script include and I will close the rest. There's nothing much to close. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back to our variables. I see someone commented, Mallika. She commented, where can she improve her scripting? Yes, please follow our channel, subscribe to it, you'll get all the updates. And I see one more comment from Durga Kirti. It's cool to add a script include here. Of course, it is cool to add script include, and much and more cooler is from the script include you can even call some events and trigger some notifications out of this. Okay, so macros, UI macros can be leveraged to any extent. Okay, let's go back. I'll go to the widget. I'll open the widget here. Again, so widget development, some people are comfortable doing it from the widget editor and some are comfortable doing it from the platform. Either ways, the concept is one and the same. Okay, so here it's pretty straightforward. In the widget we have AngularJS to control the loops, iterations and all that, so it's very easy. So let's quickly build a table here.
Yeah, I guess Palni is doing a playlist as well on this, right, Raj?
Yes, yeah, there we have people building playlist on portal development completely, which they have a plan of doing thorough in-depth training on widget development, okay, with all the complex use cases. And they also have a plan of having a mini project on portal development.
Great. Wow,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to our, first of all, let's make sure our catalog item is available on the portal. So I will assign a topic to this. So I'll select a taxonomy, technology services taxonomy, and I will just select, I don't know, developer services maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go there, and we don't need this anymore. We can just go to Employee Center.
Hey Raj, they want to know if we are going to do a live on integrations too.
Sure, it all depends on their support, how they encourage us. The more likes, subscribes, that will motivate us, and we will definitely do whatever they ask. Okay, we are here to help the ServiceNow community, especially whoever wants to learn ServiceNow. We definitely help you in however way you want us to help.
Great, great.
Okay, so let's go scroll down. Here you go, we have our training request. So I have a training request here, and you see there is no widget at the bottom, and now we are going to add that widget soon. So let's go to our widget. Okay, so I'll create a HTML first. I will start with a very static HTML. I will, as we created before, I will just start with a header h2 / h2 then I will create a table. Then I'm going to create a head or just a simple row, tr. And in this I'm going to create a th. I call this as skill, and one more th. I'll call this as level. Tr. Okay, so I'm going to create a td. So this is where in this cell I'm going to get the actual key of the prerequisite, and again one more cell to get the value of the td. That's it, and I think this is not required. Okay, that's it. This is our HTML here, and we are going to populate the TD and this skill and skill levels automatically using some scripts. So first let us render this and check how it looks. Fantastic, we got our table here. We can add the CSS later. So now let us do all the scripting. Okay, so as you all know, when the widget is first loaded, it will run the server-side script, but we have the data that has to the input that has to come from the user selection. So first user has to select this, and that is when we have to fetch the data from the server. Okay, so to keep a watch on what user is doing here, we are going to write a watch statement. Okay, so before even we do that, we shall get the server side the client side data or the form data using var g underscore form is equal to c dot page dot g underscore form. Okay, so on the other side you can also use $scope. Okay, and if you are using $scope, you can also do this. Both are one and the same. Okay, so as a best practice, it is good to use c dot because c is already defined here. Okay, so it's using c dot is better. Okay, so I will just go to $scope dot $watch. Okay, so here I'm going to watch what's happening in the what's happening on the course selection, and I will assign that to a variable called $scope dot course id. I'm assigning that to a variable here, and I will get that variable from g underscore form dot. I will use get value. This will give me the variable name, so I will use get value, and I hope I have the catalog item open here.
So Raj, what they want to know what this C dot page exactly do.
So, okay, just give me a second. Let me copy this before I forget. And then, okay, yes. So this will get the value from there. Now, the C dot scope, the C dot page or scope dot page, what it does is it basically gets the G underscore form object from this page. Okay, so basically whatever is being rendered, it is rendered into an object. Okay, so into this page in the DOM, and from that page we get the G underscore form object, the complete object from there. Okay, so now we have, because in widget development or in the widget you don't have G underscore form object. G underscore form object is only available within the client scripts, okay, on the client side. But here in the widget, in the client controller, you have only the HTML that is rendered here. Okay, whatever HTML is rendered, and it is bound with the HTML. So now from there you are getting the page, and that page already contains the G underscore form object, and that is the object I am calling here. And now because I have the G underscore form class, from that class I can use all the methods of that class and that object. I hope I explained it. So let's go and return this to the server. Okay, so I have assigned this value and I'm returning this value to the server. Okay, so whatever value I'm getting, I'm just returning it dot get value of this.
Hey Raj, Aruna is asking, switch function will monitor the changes when the field value changes, right?
Watch function will monitor the field value changes. Yes, watch function is to continuously watch what's happening on that particular element. Okay, perfect. Those are great questions. So for people who has questions on this widget development, please subscribe to our channel and follow the playlist portal development, where our team is putting a lot of effort in helping everyone learn portals and widget development. They have started it from very basics, like what is the AngularJS requirement for that, very limited AngularJS that is required for ServiceNow widget development. There is already a playlist, wonderful playlist for that, and now they are doing it on they are extending it to the widget development. I am sure you can take advantage there, and all the questions asked on the comments also will be answered by the team. Okay, so I'm c.data will store it into the data object, and the data object can be accessed by the server side. That is why I'm doing this here. Okay, and once I have the data object populated, I will just update this value to the server, so that now I have, what is happening is I have the selection that user made. I captured that selection and I have sent to the server side. So once we have a sysID in the server, you can search any table and get the value from any table. Okay, so if we have an input, so now the input object is populated as well. So we have an input, and if the input contains the course sysID, Okay, so this is the course sys id. If that input contains the course sys id, then I want to perform all of these operations. So what is this I'm going to do here? I'm going to basically query the this table here, to query this table here. Okay, new glad record of this training record dot add query sys id is nothing but our input course. Okay, input dot course id. So if you want to define this as some variable here, where okay, so I'll just say course id is equal to so if I do this, or if you don't want to assign it to a variable, just you go ahead and use input dot course id. Both are one and the same. Training record dot query. Now I got the record value here, and so once I have the value, I will just go into this if statement, training record dot next. Okay, so once I have the next, then I'll get the prerequisites, where I need not create a variable here, but just if you want to keep the code clean, instead of having the data from somewhere, you can always use a variable. We'll use this variable here. Okay, so training record dot new prerequisites. So I have that object here in the prerequisites now. Okay, so from here we are going to do the same thing what we have done in the UI macro. So I will get the keys, where keys is equal to object dot keys. So I'm going to use object dot keys of prerequisites. So now I have all the keys here. So I'll go to the for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than keys dot length. Okay, I plus plus. So I have all of that there, and now I have so I will create one more array here, where I'll create an array called prerequisite preq array. Okay, and I will make sure this array is accessible by the HTML. So for that I will just use data dot prerequisites. Okay, so I have this array, and now into this array I will just push the objects and the keys. Okay, data dot prerequisites dot push. Okay, so I'll just give the key value pairs. I'll just say skill is keys of I, and then I'll just say level is, I will use this, this object value with keys of I. So this is simple. So now we have the prerequisites. Okay, all the prerequisite key value pairs pushed into pre-req array. So we have all of these elements here. So let us save this. So now we have the data. So basically, if you go step by step, we are watching what the end user is doing on the form. We got that data, we passed it to the server, we got the values from the server. Now we are going to update it back onto the HTML. It's that simple. So we'll go here. I'm going to iterate this particular row for the number of requirements or the prerequisites that we have. So for that I will use ng repeat. Okay, so if any of you are not aware of these AngularJS methods, so please go through the channel. There is a wonderful playlist for that. Please follow that. Okay, so it will repeat, it will iterate through each of this element, and then once I have it here, then I will get the value of this. Dot skill and level. Okay, so I'll get the skill and level. Let's test it. Okay, there is an issue already. So what is it saying? Line number 3, column number 1. So line number 3. Okay, so what's the issue here? Let me remove the error.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Raj.
Okay, so what's wrong? Data dot prerequisite. It is okay. I just used a var because data is already a predefined object. I just used a var, so it just spit it back. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, so now we have the selection. If I just say this, wow, we got the data populated in the tabular format. Now all we have to do is CSS. For people who are not comfortable with CSS and HTML, there are a lot of AI tools available. Just go use your imagination, use your creativity to generate the HTML CSS, and you can just directly copy paste. So for now, here I will just use a simple CSS. Here, let's see how it looks. TH, okay. Okay. Yes, so I see Moksha commented that she wants to use Bootstrap. Yes, um, that's a wonderful thing you have to do. So Bootstrap will also allow you to give the uh, leverage of using it on multiple devices. Okay, so definitely I encourage using Bootstrap and AngularJS wherever required. So this is for the header. Let us see how it looks. Bootstrap and Bootsnip. Bootsnip is very good for CSS. Okay, so this is okay. So we have all of this, and you can use the borders for the table. Okay, and you can,
Yeah.
yeah, you can be as creative as you want when it comes to CSS.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so this is all I wanted to show today. So how you can leverage the catalog items. Instead of building a simple catalog item, you can also get some data, render it in the form of HTML and display as messages to the users, so that they can have a quick understanding instead of getting the values and populating it into the fields by directly using script includes. This is the best way, and this is not a simple example to use. It's not a simple use case that I'm saying. It is not just to get the data from server and show it to the render it to the end user, but it has various other usages. So for one of the customers, we have implemented this to uh, to allow the approvals done on the catalog form itself. That way the approval licenses can be cost of approval licenses can be saved. And we have shown over 6 months, we have shown them like hundreds of thousands of dollars of saving, which
Oh,
is
that's great. Yeah,
yes, remarkable.
it's
And
huge.
yes, so, and also for some of the customer, and I have also already mentioned AWS integration. If someone is already aware of AWS integration, all the catalog items that comes from the AWS integration is built on this um, macros and script includes. So if you want to make any alterations or any kind of changes on that catalog items, this is the concept that you need to know. Okay, so that's all from my side for today. So any questions, I will be very glad to answer, help you. And if you still want to connect with me, please let me know in the comments, or you can also subscribe to the channel Palni Inc. and you can leave comments there. We will respond back with answers.
Great. All right. What a session, really. Yeah, we have been having issues here and there, but really, Raj, that was a great session from you.
Thank
I
you.
must say, that was really, I must say, the idea itself was quite new and interesting
Yep.
and
Thank you very
yeah.
much, Tulsi. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. And thank you for everyone who has joined this. I know for some people who have joined from other part of the world, from India and other locations, it's like very late night. Thank you very much for staying curious, staying passionate, and uh, be patient with me all the time as I develop.
Yes, my pleasure, Raj. And really, a big thanks to all of you guys who have joined us today. I really hope you learned something new and interesting today. And yeah, sure, we had a few jokes, like Raj making it on purpose. Sure.
I
So,
see Dexter joined. Dex, thank you very much for making your time on Sunday morning.
great. Thank you, everyone, really. And yeah, before we close off, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't worry, this is just the beginning. We are getting started. We are going to come with a lot more interesting and exciting content in our upcoming live sessions. And yeah, we need your support for this. As long as we have your support, I'm sure we are going to work as a whole team. We are going to give you the best experiences. So until next time, keep learning and keep building, as we say here at Palni. Let's make ServiceNow awesome together. So thank you, Raj. Thank you for the great session.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye.